All right, what's going on, fam? We are back again. A new episode, Conscious Approach Podcast. JV wins. Dave De Niro G. We are back. Um, I'm a little. If it sounds like I'm a little less exuberant at the beginning of the videos than I usually am, there's a reason for that. It's because what we are about to talk about is something that really bothers me. It really gets on my nerves. We have discussed the subject in previous videos in the past with regards to how the social media reaction to the comments that a famous person makes can have negative consequences on their career, despite the fact that they work to earn that career. And I had to speak on this Gina Carano situation because it has happened yet again. Now, for anybody who is unaware of this situation, Gina Carano, she began her career in MMA. So she was a fighter in the MMA. She eventually moved on from MMA to a career in movies. She's an actress. She's been in movies like she was in the first Deadpool movie. I think most people today know her because of her role in a wildly popular show on the Disney Plus streaming service, The Mandalorian. It's a Star Wars show. And I don't know if she's a series regular on the show or not. I think she's a recurring character, not a series regular. But that's neither here nor there. The fact is, she's on that show, or she was on that show. It's a wildly popular show, but she was recently fired because of comments that she made on Instagram. So first, I want to read the comments, and then I want to kind of quickly dissect it from my point of view as much as possible. Because I think it represents two things going on in our society that really do need to stop. It's a poison in westernized culture today, and that is persecuting a person on behalf of their political beliefs, number one, and then number two, the whole cancel culture thing. And the cancel culture thing is something that we've dealt with before in the past. So quickly, I'm just going to read the Instagram post that got her the axe. So on her Instagram, she said, Jews were beaten in the streets, not by Nazi soldiers, but by their neighbors, even by children. Because history is edited, most people today don't realize that to get to the point where Nazi soldiers could easily round up thousands of Jews, the government first made their own neighbors hate them simply for being Jews. How is that any different from hating someone for their political views? So that was what she said, and that got her fired because it was categorized as insensitive towards this Holocaust and everything that went down there. Now, first, let me get it out of the way that I think the analogy that she applied was not very good.
Terrible.
Yeah. I think that the analogy was ill-applied. You cannot compare being a private conservative citizen in a free society to persecuted Jews during the Holocaust. You can't make that comparison, right? So granted, it was an analogy that was ill-applied. So I wanted to get that out of the way because I think that the point that she was trying to make was correct. She just used a bad analogy to make the point. Essentially, what she was saying was, to be a conservative or someone who identifies politically as a Republican today in America means that you are vilified for your political beliefs and that your career and your opportunity in life is adversely affected because you're not sticking to the liberal ideology or the liberal way of thinking. That was what she was trying to get at. She did a poor job of doing so by invoking the use of the Holocaust and the Jew analysis and the Jewish analogy.
Yeah.
But I think that the point that she was making is correct. Now, let me say that for me, I am not someone who identifies as Republican, right? Politically, I'm independent. I use the information that is provided for me, and I make an informed decision regardless of what political party each side aligns with. Whatever makes the most sense to me is where I go. I will only say that when it comes to economics and family values, that I do identify along conservative ideology, right? So specifically when it comes to family values, and the nature of things like relationships, I have conservative ideology. I don't buy all of this liberal, I think therefore I am mumbo jumbo that's going on out here in these streets. But I think the problem is that it has become counterintuitive to the success of your career to be openly, publicly expressive of your conservative or traditional points of view, because we have just sort of we have basically decided as a society that to be liberal is to be right and to be traditionalist and conservative is to be wrong. So if you're a traditionalist and a conservative, you're a bad guy, and if you're liberal minded, you're a good guy. It's okay to get on social media and say, I think Donald Trump is a white supremacist and a racist, and you're good to go. But if you say, I think that there was something going on with the election, or I'm a part of Make America Great Again, negative consequences come along with that. And I'm not trying to say one side of the aisle is right and one side of the aisle is wrong. I'm just trying to say that if one is okay, then the other is okay. Because at the end of the day, all this boils down to is a matter of differences of opinion. So just because someone expresses a conservative / Republican point of view, and I don't even like the fact that conservative and Republican has been co-opted to mean the same thing, because I think you can be conservative but not politically align yourself with, the Republican Party, so to speak. I personally know a lot of people who are conservative, and these people are reasonable, good people, and they don't necessarily politically identify as Republican, but they're conservative individuals. So, there's a problem with the fact that those two things have been co-opted in and of itself. But even beyond that, if it's okay to speak liberal points of view and not have your career adversely affected or be persecuted on social media, then a person should be able to express conservative points of view, Republican points of view, if you will, and not have to worry about being fired off of a show that was opportunistic for their career. And you can say all day that she was fired because she made the analogy, because she, invoked the Jewish analogy. It is my personal belief that she was let go not just because of these comments, but because she has been somebody who has vocally stood on her principles as a staunch Republican and a staunch conservative. And the weirdo left-winging, leftist Hollywood agenda doesn't like that. And the media doesn't the media doesn't help the situation by also being in line with that sort of liberal left-wing ideology. And so collectively, the weight of the pressure of the social media masses and our compliance with liberal ideology resulted in her losing her opportunity. And intrinsically, I have a problem with that. I don't like that. And that doesn't even go so far as for me to sort of analyze the cancel culture aspect of this, where she is now out of a job for something that she worked to earn because she said something that people don't agree with. I'm just addressing the point about the fact that she was already not liked because she expressed conservative points of view and it adversely affected her career. I have a problem with that. If you're conservative, speak your piece. If you're liberal, speak your piece. One side ain't right versus the other. And, the Jewish analogy was ill-applied. That is warranted. I'll admit that. But even beyond Gina Carano, there have been other situations in the past where we have gotten these public figures and these celebrities who have expressed conservative points of view, and they have been ridiculed for being bigoted or racist or homophobic or whatever you want to attach to this. Whatever ism you want to attach to this. And maybe they didn't get fired, but they still had to go on this contrition tour and make all of these apologies and make reprimands for the fact that they expressed what was otherwise a reasonable point of view, albeit conservative. It's a problem. In my opinion, it's a problem.
Oh, I don't know, man, because, I'm not big on politics.
Me neither. This ain't even about politics.
I get it, but I'm just saying, and it's tough because, I guess I try to see it from, the whole, both sides, the points of view of the situation. But, I would think, was it something that she really needed to say?
she's been consistent. But the thing about it is she's been consistent with expressing her views on social media, no different than anyone else does.
I get that, but like, and we assume, because I don't know, but you know, being on the Disney Channel, and it sucks, but I feel like it's more so all that they're gonna consider that, because it's not like she was on the Lifetime. It's the Disney Channel, so all these kids and whatever was watching it, because I don't know much about the show.
Me neither.
But I'm figuring if it's on Disney, it must be something family friendly / kids friendly, and you know, I guess just making a statement like that in the time, and these kids smarter than whatever. You know, I think it's just, I don't want to say she shouldn't have got fired or she should have gotten fired, but I think it's more so, like you said, just people need to be accountable, and I think we need to just watch what you say before you hit the send button.
Yeah,
because some things, like even with me, I post some things we do, and sometimes I'll be about to post some things and I'll delete it, and it sucks because I hate having the feeling like I can't post something because I'm concerned what somebody's about to say. Like I hate that feeling.
Yeah,
because it shouldn't fucking matter.
You should stand on your principles and post.
But you know, when you got
should post it. If it's reason, you know in your heart whether something you're about to post is reasonable. So just because
that was reasonable when she said that,
and we admit that was an ill-applied analogy.
So, I think, if anything, I guess just a learning experience with her. Hopefully,
but her career might be over, and I think that's the biggest problem with all of this. Like, okay, so let me ask you this: everything that you said is completely fine. Do you think it warrants her entire career being adverse? She may never get another opportunity again.
I doubt. I think that's just one opportunity. I think somebody like her, and it's looking like she's been successful with that kind of money. I don't think this going to completely cancel her. Somewhere, I think somebody come back when that money starts.
I hope so. I hope for her sake you're right.
I doubt that she just doesn't get another shot. I could be wrong, but I feel like this is just another incident of, you know, the person being as valuable as much as your career is and as money you make, it's just unfortunate part of you, just part of a whole machine that unfortunately can pull the rug under your career. Because Disney is Disney, and at the end of the day, you're just who you are.
Yeah.
And it sucks. But I guess when you're in a position, sometimes you gotta think before you hit send. And you know, that bag, yeah, you know, but maybe she might be really, I don't know, she might be fine, but she might feel like she might not be mad that she lost her job. I don't know what the comments are.
I think it's more so about the principle. So it's not about the loss of income. It's about what it represents that she was fired from that job. Just like with Nick Cannon, right? Nick Cannon. It's the same. It's about what it represents. Like, I just what strikes a nerve with me is the fact that if she was somebody like, okay, so Jemele Hill can get on social media and call Donald Trump a white supremacist. Mm-hmm. She can get on social media and call Donald Trump racist, right? Mm-hmm. She can get on social media and cast all of these aspersions upon the president. Now, it's not about whether you agree or disagree with what she's saying. It's about the fact that she expressed a point of view that hinges more on the left side of the aisle. So there's like, she isn't being persecuted with pitchforks and being burned at the stake for that. But I think I think that what we have adopted in this country is a culture of, to be conservative is to be bad and rigid and intolerant, and to be liberal is to be progressive and forward-thinking and good. So one side has been identified as the good guys, and one side has been identified as the bad guys. And for me, I don't like it because fundamentally these are just opposing points of view. If she's being conservative and expressing conservative points of view, leave her be. If you don't agree with it, that's fine. Express your disagreement if you feel so inclined on social media.
I get you.
But the fact that she lost her job, to me, is representative of a deep-seated problem with how we have sort of adopted this mentality that you must be completely hyper-liberal to be on the right side of history.
Just to play devil advocate, but because that's one thing I don't like about text and all that stuff with message, because like you really can't decipher somebody's tone, right?
Yeah.
But let's say if she sent that text, because it's either she really felt like that, she was like, let me tell you how I really feel, or was it a sense of like, shit, I'm such and such, I'm good, and I can send it because I'm good. Like, sometimes you think you're good and you're not good. You know, like, you know, because we gotta be fair about it, because, you know, like you with Nick Cannon, like, I get it sucks, but you know you got responsibilities. Mm-hmm. It's no different than, you know, an athlete who, LeBron James, he knows when he goes out in the public, like, a dude can slap him in the face, he still got to think twice because he knows the Lakers is over here on the left side. Yeah, right. You know, so Nick Cannon either did think about, and I'm not saying, I don't know. Yeah. Either wilding out wasn't important, or maybe he thought he was good with her or not. Right. Maybe Disney wasn't important to her, or maybe she felt like she was good. Yeah. Yeah. Because sometimes you feel like you're bigger than the machine. Yeah. So I think, and you know, you're not wrong, but I think like when you're assessing the responsibility on the part of the sender to think twice before doing what they do. They say protect the back, and that's your back because it sucks, because this can't happen, and it's not like I can say this was the first time this ever happened. Yeah. They had to have. There's been plenty of examples of this, right? Regardless if it's right or wrong. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's what built up to it is the fact this is. But I think my point overall is. And she said she said the first time, right? Yeah. So maybe she really gained traction off. You know, the first time you already started. So maybe she just. But nothing that she. But none of. Okay. Aside from this one, so like I acknowledge that this recent Instagram post that was basically. You know, that was the tipping point. That was the one where it was like, okay, we're going to get rid of her. But prior to that, all she did was express points of view that she believed in that may have been debatable or disagreeable to a lot of people, because a lot of people think sort of liberal-minded, and she's somebody who is proudly conservative, proudly traditionalist. She was never really overtly like disrespectful in any kind of way necessarily. No. She was just saying things that a lot of people found disagreeable. The only assertion that I am trying to make is that one's propensity to, you know, express viewpoints that are disagreeable should not warrant her being fired. Like, she talked about how she doesn't like mass. She talked about how she feels like the election was stolen. She's talked about how she doesn't acknowledge the existence of pronouns. So like, queer people and people on the spectrum who don't want to be identified as he or she, him or her, she's said, like, I don't acknowledge that, I don't acknowledge pronouns. Now, you might not like that because you do acknowledge it, and maybe you disagree with that, but why does that mean that she needs to be fired? What does it do for you that she is now fired from that position? Well, I mean, what does it do for you? I think, in the grand scheme of things, I think Disney, from the grand scheme of things, is like, it's Disney, and I feel like regardless of what it is, I think it's more so supposed to be family friendly, like none of that extra, because kids. And I think her being a star on Disney, and it's like I feel you, like, express your opinions, baby, express them. But sometimes it's not want to be rude, but who cares? First of all, and second of all, it's like, okay, who cares? Yes. And so like you said these things, and I get it, and it's like, but you got to know like your bag. You got. And I'm pretty sure, like, they go over some things when you first signed, and like, it's all kind of stuff. I think she more so, she said what she said the first time, and maybe it wasn't consequence. I think I feel like this: you only get the chance to make when they say you only get to make a first impression one time. So I'm not saying she's wrong, but I think that whole, I think the whole analogy was, I think that just. Because I get it, but I feel like that whole analogy is so terrible that it's just like, don't say nothing else. Because you don't, like, what are you, like, I can see if it was like something, but I feel like that analogy itself is just whole discredit. That's fine, and that's fine, and I'll accept that. I just don't accept the fact that means that she is now fired from that show. Wow. And like, the thing is, like, you can hold someone to account without taking an opportunity away from them. And, and the thing about it is, again, it's not about what she said. To me, I think the point that she was trying to make is entirely valid, because I believe that if it's someone else, there are tons of other people who have shows on Disney Plus who express their political points of view on social media and nothing happens to them. You know why? Because they are saying things that everyone else agrees with. I'm with you.
And so today, in today's day and time, when it hurts you to be conservative, when you express conservative points of view and people come at you criticizing you because they are fake outrage, it results in you being fired from a show. Whereas in an alternate reality, if she was expressing liberal points of view, nothing would happen to her because everybody's happy-go-lucky liberal. And my thing is, everybody can live. Everybody has the opportunity to express what they want. Now, practically speaking, you're right. She should have thought about that before she made that post, because you gotta know that something like that can happen.
This is my thing. Maybe it wasn't even the comments. Maybe they're looking at it like, damn, you becoming a liability.
No.
Because like if you said this, what about she come out and say something even motherfucker, like. So what about
even
you?
worse?
If you said that, so you might not. I might ain't be.
Okay, but my thing is, when that time comes, that's when you get rid of her. You don't preemptively get rid of her when she hasn't done that yet. Like, that's not right. That's not right. Like, once she really says, like, I hate all black people,
No, not that.
No, I'm just saying, like, I'm just using that. It's an extreme example, but I'm saying, once she says something, and, I don't want to go down a slippery slope here, because I don't like to get into what is and is not offensive to a group of people when I'm not a part of that community. So I don't want to talk about what is and is not offensive towards Jewish people because I'm not Jewish. I feel like it's not my place. But it's the same. Okay, when Ellen DeGeneres, remember what Ellen said when the quarantine first went down?
Yeah, she said, I feel like I'm in a prison.
Yes. No. She equated it to slavery.
I thought she did it in prison. It was in prison. It was prison.
Okay,
I know she said she equated it being incarcerated, but it wasn't.
But the thing is, like, that was an ill-applied analogy, right?
True.
Because the thing about it is, how do you a rich person who I'm guessing, I don't know much about Ellen, but I'm guessing she lives in nice. Yeah. I'm guessing she's living in nice accommodations.
And
you're going to equate quarantine in your huge house to being in prison. Now, that statement rubbed me the wrong way, but it didn't prompt me to get so triggered to the point where I felt like she should be stripped of her TV show.
Do you feel like that statement is on the
same level as the Jew statement? No, it's not. But it's still an ill-applied analogy that rubbed people the wrong way. True. People had a problem with what she said.
I just think that the fact that, I think the fact that you put the Jews in the whole Nazi thing, I think that's an extreme.
Yeah.
I think that's extreme.
So,
and I feel like, and this is funny, this is a true story, bro. I don't think I've told you, like, this is a true story. I don't think I've told you this. Like, what, it was a few years back, Halloween, I had a couple friends who were white, and we dressed up, right? And they said, okay, we're going to dress up. They decided to dress up as Nazis. And I was the black dude, what I'm saying, wear the Nazi. I'm like, okay, maybe it's going to offset it, right? Bro, do you know, like, that night, it was all hell break loose.
Okay, but that's worse than her comments, though.
Yeah, probably.
That you were wearing. All she did was use an analogy that's ill-applied. She wasn't speaking ill of Jewish people. She was just saying, she was making a comparison that doesn't wash. That, to me, does not warrant the reaction that, in my opinion.
So you say basically saying her having that conversation, speaking that is no different on me speaking on a Harriet Tubman slavery situation. Kinda.
I don't. I don't. Because okay.
Yeah, I'm just asking. If I read a comment, I don't give a damn shit. I don't even know. So I'm not saying I agree. I'm just asking a question.
But see, the thing is, I think people are getting lost in the sauce. Not saying you, but I think people have a tendency to get lost in the sauce and analyze the analogy. What I'm analyzing is the point that she was making.
Oh, well.
And I think the point she was making is absolutely correct. I think in 2021, it does your career. In 2021, it does you no favors to be someone who is comfortable expressing conservative points of view. And that is a serious problem.
Maybe from what I've heard too, I've heard that a lot of Jewish community has a lot of say-so in these TV companies and things like that. And these people who are running these shows are Jewish.
I don't know about that. I can't speak to that. I don't know.
That's what I've heard. What I'm saying? I'm not saying all, but I've heard like the Jewish community is heavily involved in TV commercial things. So people will take offense, especially if your bosses Jewish or something like that, or somebody's in the sector close by Jewish, what you think the hell's gonna happen?
I get it. It's just,
and I'm not saying she right. Like I say, I'm not saying she deserves to or not. Because I already know one thing about the world we live in is bullshit. you know what I'm saying? Like, people opinions.
That's so much facts.
So like,
That's
I get
problem,
it. Like,
man.
people want to cancel people, but the fact of the matter is, if it was you, people only. I really, misery loves company. And, people ready to call it quits on somebody, like you said, when you never done that, you never made millions of dollars, you quick to say, "Oh, get her off TV, get her off TV."
That's right.
But if the shoe was on your foot, you'll be looking around like, "Damn, man, where my money going?"
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I think at the end of the day, all I can really say is to that young lady or to that lady is like, unfortunately,
she's another victim.
You should hit sin. I get it, but you can't.
I'm upset that this is the state that we're in. It's bad. Like, I didn't like it when it happened to Nick Cannon, and he said, and the thing is, she made an analogy again that was ill-applied. Nick Cannon directly said something that was not true. Like, and, I don't want to try and put one above the other because I think what happened to both of them respectively was wrong. But, like, I just think that no matter whatever you say is going to be held against you so long as you're not. Now, as long as you're getting on social media talking about how I'm going to, like, as long as I don't get on social media saying, hey, I believe in traditional family values, so I don't acknowledge
homosexuality.
No, not even that. I won't even say that. I say I don't acknowledge, like, gender fluidity, right? Mm-hmm. So if I, like, as a private citizen, I'm going to raise a boy to be a masculine man, and I'm going to raise a daughter to be a masculine woman. Mm-hmm. I believe in him, her, he, she. I'm not with all of this they stuff. I'm not with my children. I'm not with being such an absentee parent that I'm just going to allow them to identify with whatever sex they want because that's just okay, right? Mm. I'm not with that. That's not what I'm on. I'm on a more traditional point of view with things. Man, woman, boy, girl, he, she. Mm. If I go on television and say that, I'll get raked through the coals on social media. I would get destroyed on social media if I said that. Mm. But if I go on TV and I talk about how I'm perfectly okay with my child identifying with, if I get on TV and I say I may have had a boy, but I'm perfectly okay if my boy decides that he wants to be a girl, that's going to be okay. I'm going to be celebrated for that. And the thing about it is, I'm not saying one side is right or wrong. I'm saying, if I get to talk about how I'm okay with my child identifying with whatever sex they want, it should be okay for someone else to say, I'm not with that. I'm going to raise my son. I'm going to raise my child to be a man or a woman.
I get you. It should be okay. But I think, like you say, bro, I think this world we live in is not built that way. I think about this. I think it's really, even with this whole COVID thing, right? People don't want to get along with people in general. But I find it kind of strange that people now expect the world to get on one damn unison and wear masks and like come together so we can beat this. It doesn't work that way. And I think people I think people in general don't want the truth. I think society as a whole is okay with falsified information or dreams and masking shit. Nobody wants to address the truth. Like I say, it can be true, but people want the shit that makes them feel good for all the insecurities and bullshit rather than addressing the truth. And that's why it's hard, bro. Like, some people might not say girl and boy, whatever, but if that's what most people want to be on the side of victim than actual progression. Yeah. And I think that's just what happened. And for something that's going on, so like, I'm like, even I'm not going to talk, but I'm not going to say that because I don't want to, but it's just weird. And I think it's kind of, it gets tricky. Like, with society, we just get tricky, and unfortunately, bro, this society with social media and followings and all that stuff, like, you just got to be more careful before you hit sin. Unfortunately, unless you really stand on it, like you say, I just think it's unfortunate what happened to her. I don't think she should have lost her job.
I don't give a damn what anybody says. Like she made an analogy that was ill applied. But this culture that we've adopted, where these types of situations get your career adversely affected. I am wrong. I have a problem with that. When Riley Cooper was caught on video saying, "I'll fight all you."
Yeah, but that guess what happened? He got like 1 year hitting that.
I get it. I'm just saying, from my point of view, when he was caught on camera saying, "I'll fight all you niggers," my perspective was he needs to be held to account for that. But so long as he does, let him have his career.
Well, that's a whole different thing, because then Mike Vick came out. That was a crazy situation. Mike Vick came out talking about.
Well, no, you can't. People are going. You can't do nothing with dogs. People going.
What I'm saying, when he came out, they had him stand up for his Cooper. Right.
It doesn't. Well, but I'm just like, you just, when it comes to the dogs.
Well, I was talking about Riley Cooper and Vick, because Michael Vick stood up for the team at that time. Chip Kelly. They talked about how they had Michael Vick come and say Mike Vick had the person come out and say we accept him and all that, and it's like that was kind of messed up.
Yeah, it was.
They put him in that spot, and but that was a whole. Certain things about society, we just always gonna fight.
And you know what? I'm gonna speak on it every chance I get, because it's stupid. You know what I'm saying?
It's stupid. You tell the truth and let people have it. At least the good thing is, unless something tragically happened 30 years from now, somebody might watch this video and be like, "Damn, hey, that was what's up." You know what I'm saying? It might take time, but hey,
it's crazy. But and let me say another one. I'm gonna just say this one last thing about cancel culture, right? Because this, and you hit on this a few minutes ago. The biggest problem that I have with these situations, the fallout from it, her being let go from a job, is all of these loudmouth people on social media who come up with these hashtags, fire Gina Carano.
I got shit going.
Most of the people who start these movements are always people who haven't done nearly as much in life as the people that they're trying to get rid of.
They the fans of that show.
Yeah, so it's always people who don't have nearly as much to lose who want to criticize somebody who has the most to lose. Oh, yeah. Like, you ain't worked to earn shit your whole life, but you want to take this person down because they said something you don't agree with? That's crazy. Like, I don't care who it is, Republican, Democrat, conservative, liberal. I don't give a damn. I respect people who build shit, who work to earn. And if you work to earn something, just because you have a political or ideological point of view that I don't agree with, does not give me the right to sit here and call for you to be taken or stripped from that opportunity. That shit is wrong. And you got a lot of these people out here on social media, these loudmouth people who ain't did shit, ain't earned shit, ain't built nothing. They have nothing to lose. So it's real easy for them to criticize somebody like her who's worked to earn something her whole life. It wasn't given to her. She earned that situation.
True.
You know what I'm saying? So, intrinsically, that's the biggest problem with this cancel culture stuff. Like, you got a lot of these people out here who are miserable with the state of their own lives. And so it's like it gives you some sort of cathartic pleasure to see someone taken down who is like, this person is now brought down to my level, and that's what makes me happy. When really, practically speaking, what does it do for you?
Nothing.
Does her being fired put $10,000 in your pocket?
No.
Does it give you a business? No. So what are we doing? This is the state of the world that we in, bro. And it's like, we really need, this is a problem. And it's only going to get worse as we continue to become more and more robot. Like, we're just more and more of a robot. We live through our feeds. We live vicariously through others on social media. We stuck to our timelines. We post and we think that that's real life and that's reality when it's not. Mm-hmm. And this is what you get. These stupid ass movements that get people fired from jobs, bro. Like, this shit really does get to me. Like, it pisses me off to see this go on. But I get it. Okay. Understand the situation. Don't hit sin.
Don't hit sin, or stop having people hire you. One of the two. Like, you don't hit sin, or start having somebody hire you and do your own thing. Be your own boss. So, but it's like crazy, I say, you gotta be crazy. You gotta think before you hit sin.
I think
it's
too,
but what about this too though? Now, and this one thing too. Maybe this is giving the curse with these people getting this success, because just because you're successful at being a great actor at the show. Do you think you need to go out here and start speaking on politics and shit? Like, everybody's late.
It's not about that. When you're a private citizen, you can speak whatever you want.
But clearly, if you're not informed, you shouldn't speak. And her analogy to me My book though, no, her analogy is so terrible. To me, I feel like she just really had no real thought behind it. She shouldn't have said nothing.
What I think what she was going through was, I just think that the emotion boiled over for her so much because for so long, like she spent so like she has a hit like she's been active on social media expressing her views and being criticized for them for so long that I feel like the emotion in her just boiled over, and she reached a tipping point and got so overly emotional that she reached to making a bad analogy.
I learned like emotional intelligence is a real
you just
thing.
need to kind of calm down.
Yeah.
And, I will maybe she'd still have that job if she took a breath and maybe made the same point but using a different analogy. I get it. I think overall the point that I'm making is, despite the fact that that's a bad analogy, all of us out here who stand to lose far less than her, it's unfortunate that we collectively have the power to dictate that she is stripped of an opportunity that she worked to earn, regardless of what her political point of view is.
But you got to know, like you say, sometimes that's why you got to be careful, because you can't give a person an inch, they take a mile. And the second you open the door, the flood came in on you. It's up. Like the floodgate come in with all these people who might not even, they want you to do unintentional, but that's just the way the game goes.
Yeah.
Sometimes you turn the ball over, points gonna get scored.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's just what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
And so but I'm with you. Like, I'm not saying she got fired. I think it's just we're in a bad state. But like I said, from a sports aspect, protect the ball. You know what I'm saying? You can't turn the ball up because you get an opponent a chance to score. Guess what happens? Sometimes you lose the game.
I'm just saying, even when you say stuff that rubs me the wrong way, but I guess what I'm starting to learn more and more these days is reason is hard to come by, and maybe I'm just one of the few individuals in the world who is reasonable, and I'm surrounded by people who just don't understand what reasonable means.
Looking around social media, what's reasonable? People don't know.
Ain't nothing there. There's nothing about it.
They don't know about reasonable. If it was reasonable, people would be wearing masks and having kumbaya.
Yeah.
Ain't no reason.
Yeah.
I know. I be out there. Everybody in the club, everybody ain't think about no mask, and some people, ain't no mask, coronavirus, and it's like, you couldn't tell somebody what to do before all this. You think people all of a sudden finna just start cooperating with each other? People don't like each other on a normal basis. What makes you think we all finna just come together and wear masks? So I think a lot of stuff is just, it's crazy. To me, it'd be crazy when we think of stuff we ask for. Like, why people don't respect people who not wearing masks, and it's like,
I guess you still have to hold out hope and just try to appeal to the best in us.
The best thing people think people need to do is hold accountable and do your part. And if you're not doing your part, there's nothing to talk about, because I've come to realize I can't change and make nobody do nothing.
That's correct.
So the fact that matter is, if I feel a certain type of way about how people should be treated, how life should be exemplified through whatever it is, if I'm not doing that in my personal daily life, if I'm not doing that in the people I interact with, there's really nothing to talk about.
Yeah.
And I think that's my main thing. It's like too much is pointing and trying to worry about the next person. But meanwhile, when you go home, you got all these skeletons that fall right on your ass out the closet.
Sure do.
You know what I'm saying? It's daily. You're not trying to clean those up.
Right, but you're going to
criticize
the next person.
Yeah.
But that's what we do. That's what we do. You know? Listen. I sincerely hope Gina Carano,
she gonna get another job.
I'm just gonna defiantly sit up here and say I sincerely hope that you get all the opportunities that come to you, because this is ridiculous. And I feel the same way about Nick Cannon. Anybody else who has been a victim of this nonsense, unless we are truly talking about reprehensible behavior, such as Harvey Weinstein and Kevin Spacey and all of that kind of stuff, that to me is like, okay, if we want to get rid of that guy because of what he did, I'm perfectly all for it. Expressing disagreeable points of view on social media does not warrant that. And basically what we're seeing is Gina Carano and Kevin Spacey, at least up until this moment in time, have experienced the same fate. And what Kevin Spacey did was actual deviant, illegal, reprehensible behavior. And she just expressed an opinion that people got outraged about. And I'm telling you, if she was a liberal and she said stuff, nothing would have happened to her. It's the fact that she said something and she's been conservative consistently throughout her public career.
This ain't the time.
It should be.
It
should be the time. That's not cool.
Well, not if you with Disney, this ain't the time.
Well, get out of Disney.
They did that for her.
Get out of Disney.
That's what they did.
That's fine.
That's what they said.
Well, this first of all, Disney did what they did because they do what the rest of these toothless spineless, cowardly companies do, which is, oh man, she's going to get killed for this. We don't want this to rub off on us. We can't be held to account for her statements, so we need to get rid of her before we incur that storm. So we're gonna, we're gonna protect our,
I'm gonna protect my bro.
But I'm not gonna. I'm not criticizing Disney. I'm just saying the state of affairs is messed up.
Don't worry about it, baby. Hey, you need to send a message. Text me. I'll text you back. That's what I did. Send me a message. I'll see you back.
All of y'all people who get on social media with these hashtags, fire Gina Carano, fire this, fire that. Y'all need to check yourself, man.
You gotta understand, people want to serve. There's certain people out in this world, like, who just meant to be people who want to be pessimistic and, even want to see people fail.
Well, I firmly believe that people on social media might be the vocal minority. As in, I think most people, generally speaking, are reasonable people, but reasonable people are spending too much time actually building and working and earning than these unreasonable vocal minorities who just sit on their timelines and their feeds for 6 hours a day.
That's the same people watching damn 6, 7, 9 seasons of these shows and talking about,
bro, I
don't have time.
But I don't give a damn about that, because I'm still going to say, y'all need to get y'all behind on social media and actually work to earn something, instead of trying to tear down the next person who worked to earn something because they made comments that you don't agree with. Y'all need to stop that, man. Seriously, it's like it's a problem.
One thing this country we good at tearing down other people's shit. That's people good at tearing down other people's shit. So,
it's real easy to come at somebody who stands to lose a lot when you yourself have very little to lose.
That's how it's always gonna be. But like Birdman, you rub your hands.
Man, this I don't know. This just got me kind of mad, man. It's like, I get it. She made a bad. The analogy was ill-implied, but the point that she was making to me was valid.
Yeah, but
I think that you nowadays are persecuted for being conservative. You
gotta be kind.
Correct. And no disagreement there. But I think the bigger point has nothing to do with conciseness. I think you can be the most concise, articulate person in the world, but when you express traditionalist points of view, you get raked through the coals for that. If you express conservative points of view, no, this is not right. You have to be for everything liberal-minded, because that's what makes you good.
I think, like I said, I think it just comes down. Sometimes it's not what you say; it's how you say it. Like, I can say it and say, "Damn, Javis, man, it's a couple things I don't like about you, man. Might be, these just some things I brought to my attention. Man, you can try to work on them.
Right.
Or I can say, damn, Javis, you a piece of shit. I ain't mean that though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get it.
But I'm really
that's not what she did though. She wasn't calling people. It was a bad analogy. But what I'm saying is the word, like, it was a bad analogy, but she was not being just reading this. And again, I'm not trying to be dismissive towards how Jewish people felt about the statement, but I'm reading it, and she wasn't necessarily belittling Jews during the Holocaust or belittling what happened necessarily. She was just using that, and she was using that as a way to equate the situation that she goes through, and that's where I think she lost people. You can't equate things that are inequitable. That's what you can't do that. But in terms of it being truly so disparagingly offensive that she needs to be fired, I'm gonna draw the line on that. I draw the line on that. You know what I'm saying?
Well, they get tricky when you talking about Disney.
Yeah, I guess.
You know what I'm saying?
But
that Disney World, they don't know how many beings they were. They Disney World.
No, they are too big to fail at this point. It's scary what they do. They own everything.
So like somebody like her, we can't have that.
I guess.
Coca-Cola let you go. We steal a Coke from them. You know what I'm saying? And they ain't got nothing to do with. She ain't steal nothing. But these big companies, bro, they just gonna that money. Hey,
corporate responsibility is what they call it, right?
That's what they call it. Hey, respect the responsibility to protect that money.
Yeah.
I
protect the shield. Yeah.
Yeah. So
all right. Well,
I'd say this: if you're in the corporate world, I don't know much about it. It never was for me, but if you're in the corporate world, before you hit send, think about it. That's all I can say.
Yeah, I guess if we can't come to a more substantial resolution, we'll just live with don't hit send, I guess. Yeah. But we'll go ahead and close out that video, man. I won't speak on it no more, man. But be sure to follow the channel. Be sure to follow the platform on all relevant channels. The main hub, the website, constantapproach.com. That's where you'll find all the full content library, as well as subscribe to the channel on YouTube. Search Conscious Approach. If you're watching this video on YouTube, definitely subscribe to the channel, hit the like button. We really appreciate it. If you're watching this on Facebook, hit the share button. That is greatly appreciated. Otherwise, you can find me on Instagram at JVWins, JVWINS. You can find me on Twitter, search JV Wins. You can find me on Facebook, search Javis Ogden, JAVIS OGDEN. You can find Dave De Niro G on Instagram at 305_and_beyond, as well as the PVO apparel line. The website is pvo.apparel.store. And the Instagram is pvo.apparel, at obviously pvo.apparel. Definitely check that out, man. All kinds of sales, special things that go on throughout the weeks and the months and all of that kind of stuff based on the time of the year and all of that good stuff. Designs that are made in-house, they all come from the brain. It's not a collective or any type of corporate deal. So definitely check that out. We really appreciate all the support, man. But definitely continue to support Logical Content, man. We appreciate it. And until next time, let's try and curb cancel culture, but we'll see you later. This one is in the books. Peace.